Hi, class. We want to discuss very briefly thinking contextually, and we want to look at several kinds of context here. Um, each context gives a different slant on whatever passage it is that you are considering. And for this case here, we're looking at the historical context. And it's important that we know, and the historical piece of this is when is this taking place? Um, where in the cultural text of this history is this happening? Where does this passage fit in history? So it requires to do a lot of background research that we might understand um, when it is taking place and where this fits in history. We also need to realize and consider what else was taking place during that time in that area, around the world, what major events may have been happening uh, in this context. And what are some of the social things that were happening during this time of the writing in this historical context? The political arena, what was going on, who was actually in charge, and the technological influences on the writer and of those whom he was writing to. Secondly, as we look at this, we want to look at literature context. The literature context are the words in the verse, before and after the verse. The difference here is that in this literary context, we are looking at what the words mean. As far as the historical point of view went, we were asking the questions, and now we're looking at the words. Our book that we were reading indicated that we should go paragraph by paragraph, analyze that paragraph to ensure that we are interpreting what the writer is saying, and and I agree that we should read it over and over again to make sure that we're understanding what is going on. Um, the section of which the paragraph is a part, we want to make sure that we're understanding as we're looking at this literature context, you know, what section are we looking at, and also the book of which the section is a part of. Ultimately, all of this leads to the ultimate context is the entire Bible, and it is absolute truth. Um, it is without inerrancy, and we definitely want to consider very much the historical and the literature context. Thanks.